the
Are you
yawn.
gonna catch it? Are you gonna catch
No,
it? No.
I'm not that tired. It's weird because I slept only like 4 hours maybe.
Yeah.
And then
I had
yeah.
a good sleep. I don't know. I have a slight headache, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's because this blinding new light that we got.
Yeah. It's finally operational. It's kind of rigged on the wall. We don't have our super good camera.
Yeah. Tape and Velcro. Don't hurt nobody.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome back. This is the Wanderers Podcast. I'm Colin.
I'm Jason.
And today we had a great interview with Bobby Del Rio. He's the creator and writer of the show
IRL.
Yeah.
In IRL, the series.
Jinx. You owe me a pop.
Oh, no.
I don't drink pop.
Yeah, so we had super
me a
normal weeks
water.
as well. Like, nothing crazy happened in our lives. So.
Yeah, no. Pretty some basic, normal, basic bitch stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Working,
Just work stuff.
working out, and
Getting more active on the Twitter.
oh yeah,
So
yeah.
we're
actually,
at 200 followers.
Yeah,
That's a big news for us.
200.
I know it might seem small for some of the listeners out there, but that's a pretty big deal for us.
Yeah. Well, considering we just started not even 2 or 3 months ago. Well, it's been about 2
About
months.
2 months.
Yeah.
Well, 3 months. Well, how many episodes?
Well, we're on
This
9.
is 9.
This is episode 9 of the
So,
Wanderers
and then we
Podcast.
had a few, we had a few weeks off. So yeah, about 3 months.
Yeah. It's, it's been a steady progression anyway.
Oh
like-
yeah, the first episodes were real amateur.
Oh yeah. No, they're getting better and better as you can see our. Well, it's kind of funny because we're not actually using our camera that we just got because we had to set it up. We were gonna do a Skype,
Yeah, it never
then-
just didn't work out, and
Yeah.
then
so then we just figured we're not
like this
gonna take
camera's
this
good
whole-
too. It might be a little blurry because it's zoomed in, but
Yeah, we just didn't want to take the time because it's already getting a little late. The interview went on a little longer than expected,
Oh, yeah.
so then we decided we're not gonna do
really
the
anything.
album interview.
Yeah.
We're gonna have that hopefully next episode, depending if we have a guest that ends up being a little longer too.
Yeah.
Gotta make sacrifices, guys.
So what we're only going to do is something happened to a friend of ours. They were burgled
Yeah,
by soulless ninjas.
They came in the night
Yeah.
when he was not around.
So
I
we're
guess.
gonna start off the show giving you information about that and how you can help, and we plead with you to just give them a helping
Any little
hand.
bit, like this guy's trying to move to Edmonton, and
Well, we'll get into it. We're just gonna.
well, this is the getting into it because
We gotta throw to Shia
Why are we throwing to Shia? Oh yeah.
because the intro.
All right, Shia.
Shia.
Do it, just do it. What are you waiting for? Do it, just do it. Do it, wake up and work. Do it, just do it. What are you waiting for? Make your dreams come true. Yesterday you said tomorrow. Stop giving up. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Make your dreams come true. Do it, just do it. What are you waiting for? Do it, just do it. Do it, wake up and work. Do it, just do it. What are you waiting for? Just do it.
All right, we're back. Thanks, Shia, buddy.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
So now, yeah.
Now we can talk about it.
So a friend of ours living in Thunder Bay, they are planning a big move to Edmonton.
Yeah.
His name's Josh. His girlfriend's Danica. And last night, they're moving to Edmonton in like 5 days on May 10th. And last night while they were sleeping, someone broke into their apartment and stole a lot of their stuff.
Oh, they were home.
Yeah, they were sleeping.
How in the fuck do you sleep through that?
That's why they're ninjas. That's why
Sorry,
it's soulless
Josh, but
ninjas.
yeah, they must be ninjas. Holy
Hey,
shit,
man.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it happens though.
Well, they're
Like,
lucky they're fucking alive to talk
yeah,
about it.
that's
crazy.
there's some things that they can be thankful for though.
No,
but they still
absolutely.
it still sucks. Like they
So,
stole
lots of
some money
lots of
that they were
expensive stuff.
saving for the move and some electronics like the PlayStation and a computer and
Well, the main
wallet.
thing was they had money set aside for the move that ended up getting taken.
Yeah.
So that's
So-
basically what this fund is for, and anything you guys can chip in and help with, he would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, so they started an Indiegogo campaign. It's called Burgled by Soulless Ninjas. He's taken it with. He's taken a pretty positive stance on it, right?
Yeah.
So, as you should.
Right.
Hopefully, they can get their stuff back. But in the meantime, if we can help donate, kind of replenish their funds so that they can have a successful move to Edmonton, I would appreciate it. I'm sure Josh would appreciate
And I'd
it.
appreciate it too.
Whatever you can do, anything helps, right? So I'll set the
We'll put the link in
put the link
description.
in description and
If you're
on the
watching on
Facebook
YouTube,
page
it's right down.
down there.
Oh,
Hey, man.
oh, was that pretty loud? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so I'll put it on our Twitter. We follow us at the Wanderers Pod on our
Across all
Facebook page.
platforms, wherever you may watch or
You
listen.
can get our Wix site homepage from the Twitter site or our Facebook page, and it links to all of our pages. So
And it's a cool party.
yeah,
Yeah.
So,
yes.
yeah.
So we're not doing the album. We're not doing. We already talked about our boring, basic ass weeks.
yeah,
So
that's
there
pretty
was
much
just
it.
one thing I just wanted to bring up before we jumped into that. I recently had a discussion with my friend Miles about where I think music is kind of going, and I think we delved in on a little bit in the show where I was talking about artificial intelligence and music integration, and actually using music as a tool to unlock certain
To control Skynet.
effects and to basically turns you into a robot working for Skynet, and then you're gonna want to find John Connor.
Yep.
But no, this website, I was listening to a podcast and it just totally threw me off guard because I was thinking about this with my buddy, having a conversation. Basically, where I think music's going to go is they're going to have artificially intelligent algorithms that can actually map out. I think it's going to get more intricate than this thing that I'm going to tell you guys to go to and check out for yourselves. But I was thinking more along the lines of brain scanning and then an artificially intelligent program being able to map out what your brain needs to listen to have certain effects and like serotonin releases or dopamine or something, because there's mechanisms in music which make you feel certain emotions, and we're starting to realize these mechanics. And there's a company called if you look up the website, go to brainfm.com, and it's a website. It's you have to pay for it. There's a free trial, and they're not a sponsor of the show. I just thought this was interesting,
Oh, yeah.
and I just wanted to bring this up. Pretty much what you do is you go in, there's a focus, a relaxation, and a meditation category that you can go into. I went into the focus one, and basically it makes your brain focus in on, there's this general constructs of music where there's a beat and a tempo and musical sound. Like, it's not a progressive musical like track or anything. It's almost compared to like binaural beats and ambient noises and stuff, but it's all controlled by this artificially intelligent program that they programmed, and it's taken this guy years to develop. But essentially it's really good at putting your brains in different states, like different alpha, beta waves, stuff like that. But I just thought it was interesting because I was literally talking about it like within the last couple months with my buddy, and then I just discovered that they actually have that. So I think I'm onto the right track and what I want to start doing with music and everything. So I don't know, I just want to throw that in. If you guys want to check it out, it's brainfm.com, and I think they have an app, but I'm not too sure. There's a one-time buy-in fee of $150, I think, and then you never have to pay a subscription after that. It's just full access forever. And then I think the other one, if you get a year, it equates to about $3.99 a month, and then the other one is like $20 a month if you just do monthly or something. I don't know, it's like $10 a month or something. But anyway, I just want to throw that in, and we can go to the interview. And yeah, We hope
All
you
right.
enjoy.
Thanks.
All right.
Bobby Del Rio, everybody.
Bobby.
Hey, Bobby, how's it going? It's Jason with the Wanderers here.
Yeah, and Colin, how are you, buddy?
Good. How you doing, boys?
Pretty good. What are you up
Good.
to?
Oh, I'm just bracing myself to get our asses kicked by LeBron James tonight.
Oh, yeah, you got tickets to that game, eh?
Yeah. I'm a big Raptors fan, but they're destroying us. So
Oh.
I don't know if I'm going to go.
You'd expect that from the Cavs, right? Defending champions.
Oh, yeah. They look even better than last year. It's incredible.
Yeah, I haven't really been following much of the basketball since the season ended.
Are you a big hockey guy?
Yeah, I like hockey and football. Colin doesn't really watch any sports, so
Yeah, I'm more into the music and stuff like that. So
It's okay. You balance each other out.
yeah,
Been a good year for Canadian hockey, too.
yeah. There was about 5 teams in, and then the big one, Montreal, got out, and Calgary kind of petered out and didn't do anything, and now you got Ottawa and Edmonton, but they just dropped 2 games each, so
Yeah, but it's not over. And there's like 8 teams left, so
yeah.
pretty good. I mean, I remember, I don't know. I remember in the last 10 years, you always see maybe 1 or 2 Canadian teams, maybe they can slide in. But, I mean, how many we had this year? 5?
Yeah, there was 5 that got in, and then 3 went out in
Really
the
high
first
percent.
round.
Yeah, but just to get there, I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we had none in last year, and to have 5 come in this year, it's pretty good. Pretty good turnaround.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh's going to win, but we'll see.
Yeah, they're unreal. But
Yeah, and, they took out Crosby, but now you pissed off the whole team.
they're fundamentally good team, so it's not like they're built to lose stars, right?
Yeah, they're smart, and they knew. I mean, look, Crosby, obviously, his concussion history and all that, I mean, they know any day that could happen again, right?
Right. So, how many games do you think the Raptors are going to take the Cavs? You think they're going to take any?
I mean, the Raptors fan in me says, "Oh yeah, we'll win a couple," but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we were swept, to be honest.
Well, what was it last
Honestly,
year?
part of my motivation. I think it was 6 games. I mean, it kind of was the same pattern. I think they killed us the first 2, and then I think I'm not sure if we tied it up. We might have come back and tied it up, actually, at home. But it went to 6. Although they look better this year, and because we took those 2 last year, I'm pretty sure they're not going to, go easy on us at home, so...
Yeah, well, they're never going to go easy on us.
Well, they kind of did last year. So I think that's what happened, right? Is that they took the first 2 and they crushed us, and then I think they were like, oh, okay, they started to take it easy, and then we won. They were like, what? They won.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we're going to lose tonight, but for me, it's like, look, I want to look back and be like, hey, I saw LeBron James in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's definitely an accomplishment.
Yeah.
So, your show, introduce us to the IRL, the series.
Yeah, we're recording now, right?
Yeah, we've been recording since we started.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, so IRL is an anthology series about social media. Did you get a chance to check it out, or?
Yeah, we checked out a few episodes. We didn't get them all, but we got, I think, the first 3.
yeah,
Yeah, they're all different, right? Every episode's a different genre, especially as the season progresses. We have a full episode in black and white. We have a horror episode. We have a thriller episode. We really try and stretch the limits of an anthology series. 'Cause a lot of anthology shows go as far. They seem like they're sort of like slight variations of a similar genre.
Yeah.
Where for us, really, it's like anything goes from day to day. And then in the end, arc. Like everything comes together in the finale. So
Okay. Yeah, I'll finish that out probably this weekend at some point. Just had a fairly busy week with some stuff changing around in my work, so I didn't really have time to catch up.
Yeah, plus you're on like an awkward schedule too, so
Yeah.
you never know when you're
but
up.
this is
and
the
when
beautiful
you're-
thing about the web. The beautiful thing about web series is that just watch it whenever you want.
Yeah,
Right.
well, everything's
It's always
becoming
there.
like that, you know, like the old way of TV is just dying day by day.
So
But
so
it's
one
still
thing
there, but it's not nearly as relevant in today's society.
I did notice, I watched in the first episode there, I can't help but draw like a similarity between the big hit Netflix, well, I don't know, the controversial Netflix show right now, 13 Reasons Why. Have you been able to catch
Oh, okay.
that?
No, I haven't seen that. You know what's funny? I actually not only have I unplugged from cable, I actually recently unplugged from Netflix
Oh, really?
Yeah.
and from Crave TV. Well, just because, like, look, I'm making shows now, and we're ending well of amazing content. Like, this is not the shit on the shows that are out there. There's a lot of brilliant shows out there. There's just so many. Every time I talk to anybody, they're like, they recommend 4 other brilliant shows I've never seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So are you like afraid of like kind of skewing your creative process, or is that just a personal choice?
Because I think everything's been done. It's really just about time. I mean, it's like I'm either gonna go to the gym or I'm gonna watch Netflix. I'm either gonna go on a date or watch Netflix. I'm either gonna make my own show or watch somebody else's show. So for me, it's more about participating in life than observing life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just because
that's
it's so
kinda
easy to get sucked into like billions of hours of brilliant content. You know?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I don't know if you follow Gary Vaynerchuk at all, but it's just like for him, he doesn't watch other people's content because he's trying to just say what a lot of people are saying just his own way. And I feel like a lot of what I'm trying to do is just, I'm trying to unplug from that too. Like I haven't watched cable in years and stuff, and now we're trying to create this show, and I'm trying to create my own music and stuff like that. And
It's hard. I think it's harder. It's hard to be both, like a producer and a consumer simultaneously.
Yeah.
So some people think, oh, you know, how dare you not? I don't know, like,
Well, at the same-
like
At the same
observe-
time, there's curators too, right? Like you can be an observer and a creator at the same time while being a curator. You know what I mean? Like you could. A lot of DJs are becoming more famous than musicians and stuff, and because they're taking content, like a lot of what's coming up now, the Musically app, it's ended up bringing up like a lot of '80s stuff and like a lot of stuff that used to be prevalent, but it's just, you know, if it's rehashed and remixed in a certain way, like that's a creative process in itself, like being able to curate and like do it that way.
Yeah, no, I agree. But so here's the thing: like, I don't even listen to music, but I'm also like a singer, songwriter, guitarist. I'm actually looking to release an album that I recorded 10 years ago that I never released.
Oh yeah.
I'll probably do that. This year. But for me, it's just about like making stuff. Like for me, like I'm an artist. Like I'm here to make stuff. I'd much rather be in an acting class than watch a show for 5 hours. Like I need to be doing things.
Right.
There's not to hate on people who consume. There's great content, you know. I mean, I'm making content, so I need an audience. I want people to consume, you know, this podcast and my web series, and you know, I was on this great show called My Roommate's an Escort. I want people to see that. But for me, it's like I'm making stuff. I'm constantly creating art, and I can't do both at the same time. For me.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I know a lot of people want to be original and stuff like that, but in this day and age, it's super hard to be original. So,
Yeah, like
by
I think
like
it's
eliminating like consuming stuff, you're losing inspiration, really. So, like, you begin to stew with yourself and your own thoughts. Sometimes that can be great, but sometimes that can also be a hindrance because watching great minds create can also spark something in you, right? So.
Well, this is where I'm going to disagree with you, though, because I do participate in the world, right? So, like, I don't have to, like, watch something to be inspired. I mean, you know, I have great relationships. I spend more time with people. See, this is also part of the reason that I made IRL, right? It's like, And if you watch the whole season through, like that, it is an arc that I think is tied up pretty nicely by Bob Lackey, who's one of our writers for the IRL writing staff. But I just feel like we've kind of lost a personal connection with the social media world, right? It's like, I don't know. It's like I'm so linked into all these different networks with thousands of people all across the world, but the number of true friends that I have is quite small, you know?
Yeah, well, that's a personal choice too, right? Like it's there, like the social interaction, it exists. Like it's just a lot of people kind of shut themselves in. Like me, I have, I don't know, like 300 or 400 friends on Facebook, but I really only hang out with maybe 6 or 8 people on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty standard, I think. And so for me, like I think I have like 3,500 people on Facebook.
Yeah, so
and 3,500 on Twitter, and like it really, you know, and partly it's my career, and I've had a pretty good run, so in the work that I'm doing, but in a way, it does make me feel a bit disconnected from people, right? So I definitely have made a conscious effort to like just kind of unplug a little. For me, social media is more about, you know, business, promoting projects. But I really am trying to do a lot of the like one-on-one, spend time with human beings, just to feel alive, man.
yeah, that's a great thing about the podcast too, right? This is like a golden age of podcasts as well, because like
Oh yeah,
they're just exploding everywhere, and it gives people something we touched on with our previous guests is the long form interview is really something that's beneficial in the getting to know who you're interviewing, because
yeah,
like you can go into a
yeah. Just
TV
watch
interview and it gets edited down, right? This won't be edited. This will be pure from start to finish. This is going to go up.
Yeah, I was just actually watching that podcast that you guys did. I researched you guys a couple episodes to make sure that, you know, I got the vibe.
Yeah.
And I was like just watching that like 10 minutes ago. And I think it's true. You know, it's funny. Like I'm getting a lot of podcasts now promoting IRL, and I just hired a publicist, PD Beats, who's doing a great job. So I'm getting on a lot of podcasts. But sometimes the best conversations that I'm having in life are these sort of curated conversations with podcasters.
Yeah.
Because aside from my best friends, who am I talking to for half an hour or an hour about just stuff?
Well, that's even something I've noticed just even between from the time that me and Jason started the show here, even us being able, I don't know, like when we're hanging out and stuff, like, you know, it's not like we're sitting down face to face, like continuously having a streamed line of consciousness, like kind of conversing back and forth. It'll be like, oh yeah, look at this funny video.
Yeah.
Oh, let's look at this, and you know.
But that can be good too.
It's good too, yeah. But I feel like, you know, when our parents were growing up and stuff, like they're having conversations like these, and they would just go on throughout the whole night. And I can remember seeing my dad sitting at a round table just like the one we're sitting at, and seeing him have conversations, having coffee with people for hours. And you know, it's
the coffee culture thing.
Yeah.
That's big in like Portland and like the West Coast, but not so much here.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what happens when millennials start having families and stuff. I mean, is it going to be like, you know, a mom, a dad, and 2 kids all on their smartphones texting
Well, it
each
already
other?
is like that. It's what I was getting to is that even in the even in the relationships that we're having on a day-to-day, like we might think we're hanging out with these 6 to 8 people closely, but half the time you're with these people, they're scrolling on their phone or doing their own thing, because we're all living in this kind of social world. Like, I understand you're unplugged from it and you want it to be more of a business thing because you're trying to promote your creative abilities, and you're like kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to flip the script too for ourselves, and rather than just scroll through social media like we're watching TV, you know, like peering into all these people's lives, living vicariously. It's just like, you know, it's such a, like, I feel like social media is almost now the gateway drug to have real human interaction, because of we're able to reach out to anybody we want in the world. And your publicist or your PR person reached out to us, and now we're having a conversation, and like, who knows where it's going to go, right? It's just being human, like we're talking and
right.
using this medium, but
well, this is it, right? It's interesting what you said, but it's kind of like it's almost like everybody in the world now has a television channel, and they're the star of their television show.
Oh yeah, everybody
and everyone
and their mother is a media
watch
company.
Watch my show.
Yeah,
like everybody. That's why I kind of like watching. I don't know if you know. Do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? Like, do you ever?
I don't.
Well, especially if you're trying to drive more stuff on social media and stuff. If you follow people like him and understand what he's doing, like, essentially what reality TV birthed was the age of everybody wanting to be their own reality star, and social media
right.
and the way we interact with it. Like, everybody and their mother is now their own media company, and he's pretty much putting this blueprint out for the modern marketing era. I don't know. It's, for me, watching his content, it literally reminds me of Wolf on Wall Street, but like a modern social media digital agency. Like, that's what he runs, is a social media digital agency, but he's like teaching everybody how to do it, but he only knows 2% of the people that watch his shit are actually going to do it, right?
Well, I'll check it out. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a great motivational guy.
See, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people watch him and they're like, "Oh, he's really hype. He's really big," and like all that stuff. Like, it's really weird. Just like YouTube, you know how you can go down like those little rabbit holes. Like, you're watching like some funny videos, and then the next thing you know, you're like watching some like crazy conspiracy or something going on, like, or some nasty.
Oh
stuff.
Yeah. Next thing I know, I'm crying because somebody has a good audition at like American Idol from like 25 or something. Well, maybe that was a little bit before American Idol, but like some of the weird stuff, like you're just like, what the hell? Why am I watching gerbils have sex right now?
Yeah. Hey, gerbils have sex too,
Yeah. Well, there's some really cool stuff too. Like, I just watched some guy save a prairie dog from drowning today. That was really, like, my favorite videos are when people save animals. It's just amazing.
I watched this one that made me so, it like hurt me to watch, because some kids like dumped glue all over this dog.
Yeah, I watched that, but it's got a happy ending.
Yeah,
so.
it's got a happy end. So like, yeah, that's the thing though. Like, now content, like it's more
this
about
conversation.
Pardon?
I was just gonna say, this conversation is very interesting because, so for IRL, what we did before we filmed anything is that we had about 6 months of rehearsals and conversations about the social media experience.
Mm-hmm.
So we had in the end, we had 35 cast members in IRL. But we probably had about, I would say, 20 to 25 that participated in sort of weekly drop-in rehearsals for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even a bit longer. So we just discussed everything. But I do remember, and it was very honest too, and one of the actors said something about how sometimes she experiences life and she thinks, oh, like, I should do this because that would make a good Instagram post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And then it's like our lives are like, we're all just making content,
Yeah.
But that, like, you could also, there's a duality to it, right? That could be good. Like, if this social media didn't exist, that person could be sitting at home just watching TV. And instead they're going out and they're doing something about trying to be it as vain as an Instagram post. At least they're going out there and doing something.
Mm-hmm. Well, even with this, like, our main goal is we want to reach out to and find a community of like a lot of like-minded people, and start discussing these types of topics and like getting people thinking rather than just constantly mindlessly consuming stuff. Like, if people fall onto this content, it could either they resonate with what we're saying and they gain value from it, or move on to the next one, right? But I don't know, it's just in this day and age, like, we all have a digital footprint whether we like it or not, you know what I mean? And whether you're just going to be an observer or a creator. We're all granted this access to, like, 20 years ago, if we were sitting here trying to record a broadcast with video and everything, like, the production cost would have been so much more than it is today. And
Oh, yeah, it wouldn't have happened.
it wouldn't have happened. But
It's ease of
now,
access. Right?
yeah, the more accessible things like this become, the more, people start getting involved and start, wanting to create better content that's going to better the world. And,
Right. So touching on that, like, you wanna, like, this IRL series, where did it come from? Like, did you want to just, like, I know you're into acting and stuff like that, but so just tell us, like, how did you get started with this?
It's funny you say that. So I was just profiled in a documentary series for CBC called Project Heartbreak to Art, I believe is what it's called. They'll be releasing it. I'm not sure. Sometime in the next. The great director and Karina Evans. They profiled 10 different artists from across Canada, and I guess I'm the guy that they picked for the film industry. And it was all about that. It was about the origins of IRL. And actually, it was kind of like disturbing to really trace it back, because basically I experienced a lot of online bullying. Like, even you go back to, like, just when the internet first started, and I remember, I've had a 20-year career, and I've had a lot of publicity in my career. Like, I've been very fortunate, and people like my work. And I remember when I first started my career, I was about 23 years old, just at a university, and I was on the cover of Now magazine here in Toronto, and I was like the subject of a half-hour documentary that aired on Bravo across Canada. So that's how I started my career, right? So I just had a lot of attention, and I basically always had attention my whole career for 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember it was very strange, but somebody had created a Hotmail account, because Hotmail was that was the email account du jour, and it said, "I hate Bobby Del Rio at hotmail.com."
Wow.
So somebody had taken the time. I mean, it's not like it was that time intensive or it didn't cost anything, but like somebody like was so, I don't know what the word is, jealous of me or envious or hateful or whatever the fuck they were, but they wanted to take me down a peg, and they created this Hotmail account, "I hate Bobby Del Rio at hotmail.com, and then emailed me from the Hotmail account and basically just started harassing me, right? And for me, like, that kind of began my relationship with social media. Now, that is not strictly social media, because that was obviously before. You're talking about, like, in the 90s, early 2000s. But this is what happens, right? Like, the technology just sort of became more pervasive, and then you're right, like, we are in an age where if you have positive things to say, you now have this wonderful technology just to make these really, positive statements about the world and connect to community. And I admire what you guys are doing. I love the long form podcast format. It's a lost art to have a really good conversation,
It really is.
But there's also a lot of motherfuckers out there, right? I mean, there's people who are using this stuff to destroy other people.
Well, that's what I was going to say is, if you have a positive message, we're almost obligated to send that message out, because negativity is so loud right now. Like, positivity needs to be louder, especially in this day and age. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many people. Oh, yeah. It's funny because my girlfriend, she shared this video of this black woman who was very naked. Like,
The big black woman, yeah.
And that was a huge thing that got thrown around the internet, and people reported it, got taken off the wall, and she was pretty much in the video, because I watched it and wanted to see what she had to say. And she was saying how people are more adept to watching something violent or, people getting literally killed in front of the camera, and then not being offended by that. But then as soon as they see a naked body, it's like totally distorted. Yeah. And then they'll immediately jump to the conclusion like, oh, this is just pornography, like we need to report this, right? Like, as it did get reported, it got taken off. And then literally later that week, I was there's this video of, I guess, this young teenager, she got beat up on camera.
Yeah, that was bad.
And then I didn't end up watching it, because I
Yeah, it was like a fucking Facebook Live thing.
it was a Facebook Live thing where I don't know if she did.
She died. Yeah, she died.
They beat up and killed this teenager live on Facebook, and then there was a group of my friends that were all saying, "Oh, that was disgusting! Like, I can't believe that I watched that." Blah blah blah. And then I was just like, "Well, why the fuck are you guys watching
They
this?"
watched it?
And it just like
Oh my-
totally proves the
Well,
point.
yeah, you propagate it, like, and it's
morbid
shocking,
curiosity,
and it's
right?
morbid curiosity, right? So you get into stuff like that, and you're like, as a human, it's in our nature. We're drawn to that. I don't know why. I'm not a biologist or anything like that.
Do you guys
so-
remember the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger? It was a really old movie called The Running Man.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome
that's what that
movie.
reminds me of.
Very
Like
violent.
a
but
reality show of people dying, right?
yeah.
It just kind of made me think, if we're all stuck in this fight or flight. Well, not everybody, but we have that human nature to be either in flight or fight. Like, I feel like through evolution and stuff, we have seen throughout history many, 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 many ways of people dying, right?
Well, that's the thing. You can't take a year in human history and there's always going to be violence. In every single year that humans have been on this planet, there's not a single year where there was no violence.
Exactly. So it's like almost like it's programmed into us to
Oh, it is.
find what violence there is to avoid it. Because, like if somebody was walking through their tribe and then they're walking beside their buddy and a saber-toothed tiger all of a sudden jumps out and bites off his leg and now he's dying. It's like they're going to be more aware in the future, like, of, I'm not going to...
I don't like that.
I don't want to
stay away from me.
I'm not going to go through that part of the jungle. Like, there's fucking tigers. So it's like...
Yeah, it's almost pain avoidance.
It's almost like there's been so many years of evolution of seeing
it's definitely
that it's almost like driven, like we're drawn to it because we're trying to protect
Well, a lot of
ourselves
people
from
think
future. I don't know. It's
one of the, like, how yawning is contagious?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that in early human history it's contagious because among a tribe of people, if you're getting tired, one person would yawn just to kind of warn everybody else, hey, kind of stay alert. I know we're getting tired, and then it would kind of propagate through the tribe, right?
That's
So
just weird though.
That's weird, but that's because there's no like chemical release when you yawn. It's just the act of seeing someone yawn is what makes you yawn.
Right, it's like a social construction.
Yeah, for sure, just to keep everybody alert. And that's just something that it's no longer needed anymore, but evolution doesn't delete, right? So
Well, that's just like the one thing I was hearing. There's this lady there's this science group that did an experiment with these monkeys, and then they put a bundle of bananas at the top of this pole, and every time the monkeys went up to the pole, they'd blast them off with a fire hose. And then eventually the monkeys would see from the bottom, like anytime somebody would try, or a monkey would try to climb up to the top to grab the bananas, they would actually pull them down from trying to get the bananas rather than seeing them get flung off, right? So then what they ended up doing throughout the experiment is they would take all the monkeys out through progression until none of the monkeys were actually blasted with water, like that had previously seen it.
yeah,
They were just all remembering, like, oh, we got to pull them off this pole, and they had
They had
no idea why.
Yeah.
No reason for it.
Oh, wow, interesting.
So, yeah, I feel like all those social constructs, like even just like, oh, this will be good to put on my Instagram, like that's becoming a social construct, just like part of our evolution too, because now you look at us, like you see other people doing it, and like
we become so secluded that like we're social beings, right? We need interaction, and doing it through Instagram that satisfies that, right? So you could have someone.
It's interesting too.
Go on.
Like if you think about like the social cues that people are getting from like social media feeds and everything, I remember like there was a girl and we were kind of like, hovering around each other. We were sort of maybe interested in each other, and we're getting all this information from our social media feeds, right? We've met in person once for like 5 seconds or something, and I remember she made a comment to me and she was like, I really love the way you present yourself on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that was like, and no, not to make fun, but it was like a genuine heartfelt comment. It was like, oh wow, like the way that I brand my, the curation of my experiences.
That's another thing, right? You don't really get to know someone for real because it's not
Right.
like I'm gonna go out and put out my most embarrassing moments on Facebook.
Right.
Some people do, and I don't.
But it's
personally,
funny. It's like the curation of your personal experience becomes its own art. Like it's like people are sort of reading into all of the ways you express yourself and what they mean, and it's like and I've had conversations with people, like they'll check out who's liking you. It's like the status is not just how many likes, but who is liking, the quality of them, and
that's
are they attractive
vanity.
women who are liking your thing? Are they like important people in the industry? Or
It's it's nice to think like everyone, they're so vain when it comes to Facebook, because like there's so much drama, and like if you do the wrong thing on Facebook, it can explode and stuff like that. And I don't understand why people who do that, they put their dirty laundry on Facebook and then they bitch about people who don't like it. Like, what did you think was
But here's
gonna
my
happen?
question: are people more vain because they'll just reveal, the sort of vanity within?
Yeah, it's just kind of airing it out, right?
Like
it was
Yeah,
always
because
there. It's just
There's no rule. Facebook's not like, hey guys, just make sure you present only the best parts of you. Right?
my
It's
problem's
we're
not
making that
with like
decision.
putting it out there. It's with the people who put it out there and then cry about people who judge them. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, whether or not you like it or not. If you didn't want to get judged on it, just don't put it out there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like what people end up doing is misery loves company. So
Yeah.
it's more so trying to get recognition or acknowledgement for your own existence, and if you can display all your problems and identify it as your problems, it's still an identity and still fulfilling your ego's needs. And like, people in the moment of when they're angry or emotional, they don't think about, like, who's going to judge me for this. Facebook's really become this go-to thing for emotional outlet. And,
This is interesting too. You bring up identity. So in the writing room, I mean, you guys would have been great to have in my writing room for IRL. Like you have a lot to say about this stuff, which is great. But what we did, and it was because I was the head writer or whatever, and I had, some of the best writers in Canada in my room. And so I divided all stories that could happen in a social media experience, right, in 4 quadrants. So basically anything that happens, any kind of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything social media related, we decided to put in one of 4 quadrants. And one of the big ones was identity, right? Like, how do people identify? So it's funny because the identity that you have in the social media space really defines the curation of your experiences. Like, for example, there are certain actors who, certain people are very attractive, and they always have to present themselves as the sort of like, harmless, maybe, ambitious, like attractive person. And so all of the things they're doing are that. Other people, they're just really, really nice and funny all the time. Some people are fucking assholes, right? There's certain people who will get cast as like the villain over and over again.
sorry about that.
Okay.
Technical difficulties here.
Shia buffering.
Yeah. All right, I think we're good now.
All right, and we're back. Oh, is it?
Did you get any of that?
It
We
was
cut
really-
you off at like the villain part where you said like people are casted as villains, and then we kind of lost.
Oh, that's good. I didn't really say anything after that. Nothing of value, anyway.
Yeah, you were just saying
no, but
that
that's
their
it.
social media feeds, they kind of get cast as a villain in real life as well as on the movies and stuff like that.
That's right. I mean, it's like it's so. This is the thing, right? We're all curating, our experiences with a purpose, right? People have different purposes. I mean, some people just want to be like, I'm so successful, and everything is like, look at my perfect family, and look at my amazing house, and oh my God, isn't my wife attractive, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And other people are like, oh, I'm so edgy, and I just got another tattoo, and oh my God, here's another video of this horrible person who sucks, or whatever. Like, you kind of decide how you want the world to see you in a way, you know?
Oh, for sure.
But that's it, though, right? It's funny because but in a way, like, if you think about it, before social media, everybody was doing that too. Like, if you go back to high school, right, it's like, what are you, man? Oh, are you a goth, or are you a preppy? Are you a Gino?
Yeah.
Right.
Are you a rocker?
See, when I went to high school, I kind of blurred those lines. Like, I didn't really identify with one single group of people. I was kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I kind of floated through too, and
I think that's happening more now because everybody's just kind of like, it's not so much of a pressure to be cool, or like what makes you cool is actually changing and becoming more broad, right? So, like, counterculture
though.
is becoming the main thing, right?
I think it depends, right? I mean, maybe that was your identity, is that you didn't identify with anything. You're the person who talks to everybody. That's kind of an identity too, you know?
Yeah.
Because there are, I mean, look, obviously I'm just talking about high school, and I'm extrapolating those ideas, but those things still exist today. Like, they're just maybe, they're not, I'm the rocker, I'm the Gino, maybe I'm not that, but maybe it's like, I'm the perfect family man, right?
Yeah.
I am the edgy artist. I am the innovative tech entrepreneur. Like, it's the same idea, right? It's just you're extending it to like a different set of values beyond what kind of music you listen to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you're just trying to put your identity across. I think
that's
that's
right.
going to happen until we're old and wise.
yeah,
Then,
yeah.
hopefully,
but
anyways.
it's interesting, right? Because you see people like, and it's funny too, because I have, as I'm sure you do, there's certain people that I'll follow across multiple platforms, right? Because, we're good friends, or, we have a good relationship or something, and it's like I'll see them on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and whatever, right? But what's funny is that I find people are pretty consistent about how they present themselves regardless of the medium. You know what I mean? So then you go, people's identity is really a strong thing, and they're very, very careful about how they're curating these experiences. So then, maybe that's common sense, but I go, okay, so then what is the inherent value of the platform? Does the platform have any inherent value, or is it really just a way to broadcast our own humanity?
So I noticed in your show, it did focus a lot on negativity in the ones that I saw anyways. In the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. It's somewhat dystopian.
So what is
I mean,
your
it
conclusion?
is different based on genre, but
do
that's a conversation that came up again and again.
So do you agree with social media, or what's your stance on this? Like, is it good, or is it bad, or is it just kind of whatever?
Well, I mean, look, I think that the tapestry of the social media experience is complex. I mean, there's a reason we were chatting about it for 6 months, and we could have easily chatted for another 6 years. And at some point I went, okay, you know what? We've got enough to have conversations, to start writing these scripts. And look, there were definitely certain people in the cast. I remember Sidney Van Delft, who's a talented actor, Amanda Jane Smith. They were two of our cast members that really tried to steer the conversation to positivity, which I respected. I didn't always agree with, but I respected that point of view. But the reality is that the stuff that people just naturally, I remember we used to do improvs, right? We used to do improvs based on themes. And there was a couple times that this positivity conversation came up, and I was like, okay. So it was like, all right, we literally spent entire rehearsals only focusing on the positive aspects of social media and turning that into sort of like a script, right? And like literally the stories became like, hey, you found my puppy or something, and oh, I'm so happy, and they would like hug, and then everyone's just standing there awkwardly because there's no conflict.
Right.
there's something about writing a story where, and I don't know if this is just like historical dramatic context or, paradigms. I'm not sure why, but conflict is a big part. If you don't have a conflict in a dramatic narrative, it's really hard to tell the story.
Well, do you know the director Joe Swanberg?
Yes, not personally, obviously.
Well,
but I like
you've
his
heard
work.
of him. Like, he is known for
That's not easy.
kind of not having conflict. He just kind of goes into a movie with a premise, and then they just start filming, and then whatever happens.
I don't know if I agree with that. I'm looking at Easy. I mean, I saw every episode of Easy, right? He wrote and directed every episode of that. There were conflicts in every single one of those episodes.
Right, but you look at a movie like Drinking Buddies, where it's really just like the conflict arose.
There's a conflict. I love Drinking Buddies. Drinking Buddies is the conflict is, are they going to get to not?
Yeah.
Right?
So all I'm saying is that he went into that not right. He didn't plan for that. That just kind of arose out of what they started, right? So the way he goes in,
fair enough, but
he goes in without anything really, and then he lets everything come out naturally, and then the conflict really, like, I get what you're saying. Most content, like most media and movies and TV shows, they need conflict. So something like that just arose naturally, and it arises naturally in everyday life. But I love,
I get it. Right.
I love the way he approaches it, is just kind of letting it come out naturally rather than planning for it.
That's what we did too, right? I mean, like I said, we were improvising for 6 months, right? So that was the foundation of IRL. It's like literally, it was like, okay, we start with an idea and characters and just go, right? 2 people in a coffee shop. One person is obsessed with taking pictures of themselves. Go, and then see what happens. But I'm just saying, what happened inevitably is that the improvs that had a conflict were the ones that were more likely to become full episodes that we later filmed, right?
Right. So if you don't have conflict, it's got to be something like heartwarming or something.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, when we did positive improv, for whatever reason, it wasn't like I was steering them in any direction. It was just like there was a decided lack of conflict that materialized naturally. And so when we did, so the writing process is interesting because I recorded like maybe 30 potential episodes from the 6 months of improv we did with our collective of actors. And then I went to a writing room when I hired amazing writers who were not part of the improv collective, right?
Right.
So I took those ideas and we distilled them down, and sometimes they just led to themes that led to other episodes. Like for example, episode 2, Surrogate, which I wrote. I did write it, but it was really a collective creation because that came out of improv, and we re-examined that piece and re-improvised that piece maybe 4 times in rehearsal before I went away and wrote it.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe there's something there because we just cracked over 50,000 views on that episode, which is our biggest audience so far.
Okay.
But other episodes were not that. Other episodes were like completely written by writers, maybe based on a theme that came out of rehearsal, but not just taking the sort of improv and then writing them. And what was interesting is that the writers themselves, because I didn't push anybody to do anything, it was just about dividing stories and what do people feel passionately about based on the material that's in front of them. And again, almost all the stories got, I don't think anything is positive or negative, but what you would conventionally describe as negative, I found that the writers naturally just went to those places.
Yeah, I think it's easier to write stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know, but it just kept coming up again and again.
Like, you're gonna remember. It's easier to remember traumatic experiences, right? So your memory is kind of drawn towards that, whereas,
right.
And it's hard to write like inspirational, heartwarming stuff if it's not natural, right? If it's something that you're just conjuring and creating, it's hard to create something like that that's inspirational and heartwarming, because part of what makes things inspirational is the fact that it's genuine, right? So
right, and also
it's much easier to create like conflict because a lot of people have experienced a lot of conflict, right? So it's easy to draw on and draw from.
Okay. But let's go back to that biological and cultural phenomenon of the yawning, right? As social, social clues, basically, right? To potential dangers. No, but it's an interesting theory, right? So, because I've also heard this theory, which I think is biologically sound. I don't really know who knows who does these studies and how valid they are, but I remember reading that human beings are genetically programmed to sense danger. So, for example, if you're like on I don't know, like let's say you're just like in a park and everyone's kind of happy, but there's one guy who's really, really pissed off. Our DNA makes us more in tune with the angry person. So all of a sudden, we all become in tune with the angry guy because that represents a threat.
Right.
Just like what I was saying, when the two people were walking down through the jungle and then the one gets eaten, right?
That's right.
It makes sense. It's an evolutionary thing, and it's just in our nature. So I guess that would draw on how much easier it is to create something.
I don't know. I mean, it's a theory. We're just talking. I'm wandering with you guys right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much everything that we've covered here is you cover in your show, right? So.
Yeah, and look, I encourage you to watch the rest of the show. I think you'd really enjoy it because it's quite complex, like some of the places that we go to, and then we throw in the different genres. I think you'd really enjoy the show.
Yeah, we'll definitely check it out. Is it going to be aired on television or anything? I saw something on your website.
So we actually aired on television before we were on the web. So Bell Media came on board and bought us from our Indiegogo campaign.
Okay.
So we actually made the show in conjunction with Bell. So we used some of their resources, and they had some notes for the direction of the show and everything. So we're still there. We got a 5-year contract. We're on a channel called 5 TV1 for Bell Media. It's basically on demand all the time, all across Canada for anybody who subscribes to the Bell cable network.
Okay.
And then we launched online about 30 days after we launched on television.
All right.
Yeah, the content is slightly different online.
More of a director's cut.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Because there's just, it was like the biggest media corporation in Canada, right? So there were certain notes about certain things that were maybe a bit too pushing the envelope, and we had to bleep out the swear words also.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, it was great having you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just have fun at your game there, and hope the Raptors win.
I think we're going to get our asses handed to us.
Well, you got to be positive, right?
Yeah, you got to put that positivity out there.
One thing we can take
I'm the
away
negative
from
guy, remember?
Yeah, we got to stay positive. Go Raptors, right?
Yeah. All right. Okay, go Raptors.
All right, man.
All right.
Take care, eh?
All right, take care, guys.
All right, see ya.
Later.
Bye. All right. So that was Bobby Del Rio.
Yep, Bobby.
It's a
Bobby boy.
good conversation. That was a long one. That's our longest interview yet.
It didn't even feel... Well, it was kind of janky in the beginning because, like, Tyler just, like, fills up.
Yeah, Tyler.
I'm going to be super quiet.
He's, like, so loud with everything. And
it was funny because...
It was funny, yeah.
I could see him trying to be quiet, and then he was, like, zipping his bag. He's like...
Yeah. Just be so loud.
My cousin Tyler, he moved up north about almost 2 years ago now. But he came down for a visit. It's about 6 hours away, New Liskard. So he's down for the weekend. We're gonna go to my cousin's house, probably do some music or something, just chill out, bro out. I think Kiefer's coming down too, hopefully, and then
Nice.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to catch up with him.
Yeah, fam jam, fucking shit's important.
Oh yeah.
Friends and fams. Yeah. Anyway, we're probably.
We'll film one more segment that we gotta do. We'll do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't do an album this week. So.
No, we didn't do an album, but I got something that we need to talk about,
Yeah.
which I think in the editing you would have already heard, because I'm gonna put it at the very beginning. So this is gonna be the end.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
thanks for watching.
Yeah.
We'll just do the ending
Until
now.
next time.
Thanks. See ya.
Later, yeah.